Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Had to hit the opera on you knuckles. Now, week three was to me kind of bizarre. Um, a lot of different things going on the field of play. You know, you had some games that kind of surprised you a lot. Now, I'm going to recap the games. The other games I saw on Red Zone, I'm just going to tell you from watching it and what was going on. I'm going to break down the stats, mainly the team stats. You know, I really don't go into the whole individual stats and stuff. You can look that up. I only look at individual stats if it does play a part in what I'm trying to explain. And yeah, shout out to Carcino for Life. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his page. All his pages: One Crack News, Screen Fiend, the Patreon. Shout out to Doe Eyes TV. Make sure you go subscribe to her page. She be having some real deep stuff over there. Very beautiful page. I got to check it out today. Who did it this time? Who did it this time? Still putting in, doing what he got to do, and he also got Who Done It this time. Lobo TV, L0B0 Beach TV, or you could just go to regular Lobo, L0B0. Seattle Seahawks Jose, you got his channel. You got Scrub Zero. You got who else we got? Jeff Bone the Bonehead. One True Emperor. You know, he got a page, basically gaming channel. Strictly Unapologetic. He has a channel. So, you know, there's a lot of people with channels. And if I missed you, I apologize. So, let's go. Week 3. Excuse me about that. My allergies tripping. Now, the New Orleans Saints traveled to Carolina in week 3, where they lost 22-14. This game really wasn't close. The Panthers were winning like early on. You know, they had 13 points going into the fourth quarter. Saints had 0. Jameis had Jameis threw some turnovers, and then I believe Kamara, he fumbled. But it was Kamara's first game back. Fourth quarter, the Saints came back and dropped 14. Carolina dropped 9 to win 22-14. The Saints scored 14 at the end. Like I said, the game really wasn't close. Christian McCaffrey went off. You know, he was killing the whole day. Baker really didn't need to do nothing, and this is how Baker could win. If you keep him at 20 to 25 pass attempts a game, you'll win as a Panther because their defense is good. The Panthers got a good defense. They got some dogs over there. You know, you got Jeremy Chin, very good young safety. I believe he's the leader of the defense next to Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson is unbelievable at middle linebacker. The guy's always causing some chaos. And then they got Corey Littleton. I think Littleton came, I forgot where he came from. They got Xavier Woods. I remember Xavier Woods with Dallas. Like I said, Dallas draft good, but when their players leave, they ball out other places. They got J.C. Horn, and they also picked up Damon Wilson, who's an underrated middle linebacker. Remember, he was with Dallas, then he went to the Chiefs, and now he's here. And Brian Burns, man, who you know really didn't do much yesterday, but got a lot of pressures. Let's see. The Saints defensively, they had I don't know if Lattimore played yesterday. Yeah, I don't think Lattimore played yesterday. I think they suspended him too. I don't know why he got suspended. He shouldn't have. He should have been playing. Unless they had him suspended, which is dumb. I didn't think they had him suspended. I thought all they did was get Mike, but Tyron was there. Yeah, that's a big loss. Cam Jordan, But here's the stats of the team game. Saints had 426 total yards. The Panthers had 293. Passing yards, the Saints had 342 compared to the Panthers 148. Rushing yards, Saints had 84 compared to the Panthers 145. Yards per play, the Saints had 7 compared to the Panthers 5. First downs, Saints had 19, Panthers had 12. Third down efficiency. Now this is where everything changes here. Hold on. Yeah, third down efficiency. The Saints were 5 of 13. Excuse me. Hold on, sorry guys. Trying to do a million things at once. Okay, so the Saints were 38% on third down, which is 5 for 13 they had, and then the Panthers were 29%. Excuse me, they were 29%, 4 of 14, and then fourth down efficiency, the Panthers were 0-1. Total plays, the Saints had 64 compared to the Panthers 59. Sacks allowed, Panthers had 3 compared to the Saints 1. Saints had 6 punts along with the Panthers. This is what killed the Saints, was 7 penalties for 58 yards compared to the Panthers 4 for 40. And this is what also lost the Saints the game. They had a fumble loss, which I believe was from Kamara. Interceptions thrown by Jameis, which is 2. The Panthers then turned the ball over, which helped them win the game. Possession, they had 30 minutes and 10 seconds compared to the Saints 29 minutes and 50 seconds. So they won by points. They won by 0.60 minutes. Like, they won by 60 minutes. That's crazy. Or 6 minutes. It's crazy. So the Saints have a real problem, and to me, they got to run the ball. If you don't run the ball, man, Jameis is not going to be effective. Jameis is a quarterback. If you've seen him at Florida State, he needs to run to dictate how he plays. If you don't have the run going with Jameis, then Jameis is going to struggle all game. And that's facts. That is facts. The Panthers won because they didn't turn the ball over. That's why I tell you, turning the ball over is very key in games. So they won that game. And the Saints got to run the ball better. They only had 84 rushing yards. Kamara had 15, carries, 61 yards, but he fumbled the ball. Mark Ingram had 5 carries, 18 yards. I would cut Jameis's 41 attempts at least down to 28 attempts and let Kamara and Ingram's carries go up. And I think they'll be fine because Chris Olave and Traquan Smith, had a good day. Michael Thomas was okay receiving the ball, but you throw picks and you fumble, and then you get penalties on top of that. That's going to kill you every time. Okay, so now next game we got the Houston Texans at the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, to me, is like, has not looked impressive this year. They have not looked impressive this year at all. Excuse me. Looking at the team's stats, the Texans had 329 yards total compared to the Bears 363 passing yards. The Bears only had 82 passing yards compared to the Texans 237. Rushing yards, the Texans had 92 compared to the Bears 281. And yards per play, 6 for the Texans, and Bears had 6. First downs, 17. Both are tied. This is where the differentiation came. The Texans were 3 of 12 on third down, so that's 25%. And of course, the Bears were 43%, which isn't much better, but it's better than that, than the 28%. Fourth down efficiency, 101 for the Texans, 0-0 for the Bears. Total plays, 57 for the Texans to the Bears, 62. Sacks allowed, 5 by the Bears, 1 by the Texans. 5 punts for the Texans, 4 for the Bears. Penalty yards, the Bears were more penalized. They had 6 penalties for 32 yards. Texans only had 3 for 25. Fumbles lost, 0. Both teams threw 2 interceptions. Time of possession, Bears won that. That's 31 minutes and 22 seconds. Minus the last game we talked about, the Saints and Panthers. Panthers won by like 60 seconds, excuse me. So apologize for that. Now back to this one. 2 minutes and 84 seconds. The Bears won by. But the score is that the Bears had 10 in the first quarter. Texans had 7. They had 7 in the second quarter. Bears had 3. And then third quarter, Texans had 6. Bears had 7. And then fourth quarter, Texans had 0. Bears had 3 to eventually win 23-20. They got in field goal position. Now, the reason that this game is so close is because of turnovers for the Bears. The Bears had turnovers, and a lot of times, their drives got stopped, and then Fields would throw inexplicable interceptions. Him and his receivers aren't on the same page. Fields is not getting any protection. Fields ain't going to last the whole year. His line is not that good. The running game, luckily the running game was working, but they put up all these yards, but you only put up 23 points, which means the turnovers as well as 3 and outs, because they were only 43% on third down. So that plays a major part. That plays a very major part. And this is why the Bears, to me, I don't really see them making the playoffs. The only way they can make the playoffs is if everybody else just fails. Their defense is good. Bears have a good defense like they always do. Their running game is good. But what's always messed the Bears up is they never can pass. And the reason they can't pass is because they're calling these remedial plays for Justin Fields, and they're not letting Justin Fields be himself. We saw that with Russell Wilson last night when he just said, "Look, man, I'm done running these plays. Let me cook," and he got him to win late. Excuse me. So the Bears, I'm not buying. I think the Bears are a flash in the pan. You know, even if they make the playoffs, I believe they're 1 game and out. You know, I just don't believe in them. The Texans have surprisingly played good as a team, but quarterback-wise, Davis Mills just isn't that guy. He's not. Long term, will he be that guy for him? Who knows? Depending on how they build their team up, but I hope them punks lose every game for what they did to Deshaun Watson, allegedly. I hope they lose every game and go winless for what they did. So that's enough of that game. Now, the next game, let me see, was Kansas City and Indianapolis. This game, really, Kansas City lost this game. Matt Ryan did not play good yesterday, but Mahomes played worse. And then Mahomes had no accountability. Him and Eric Bieniemy went off at the end of the first half. They went at it with each other. Eric Bieniemy basically told him, and then everybody wants to blame Bieniemy. It's like, bruh, it's not Bieniemy's fault that Mahomes is playing like a punani or ussy. He's playing like a big ussy. This is football, man. You got to have thicker skin. Now, they did not run the ball well. They did not run the ball well yesterday because they just could not find the holes. Hilaire was not good. He was getting shut down every time he got the ball. He didn't even get no yards. He had 7 carries, 0 yards. McKinnon and Pacheco got 3 carries for 9 yards. He should have got a little bit more carries. So should McKinnon. But the Colts always played them tough. Matt Ryan did not look impressive yesterday. And the Chiefs are having the same problems that I said they would have, like they've been having for 2 years now. Patrick Mahomes' inability to hold his patience in the pocket. He has the receivers. His receivers are no slouches. Juju stepped up yesterday. Kelsey stepped up. Scantling. Those guys went out there and played, but the person who needs to get involved is Mecole Hardman. I don't know what it is. I don't think Hardman and Patrick Mahomes do not have any connection. And it's crazy. They don't have any connection. It's like they just aren't in no connection at all. But the defense for the Chiefs, man, did their best. They held the Colts to 7 points in the first quarter. The Chiefs scored 6. Then the Chiefs had 8 compared to the Colts 3 in the second quarter. Third quarter, they both tied at 3. And then the Colts won at the end of the game when Matt Ryan threw a slant to the tight end for the touchdown to win late in the game, which they had 7, and the Chiefs didn't put up no points. The Chiefs only put up 3 points in the second half. And this is an offense that is usually high flying. That's unacceptable. And to me, Patrick Mahomes is at fault for this loss. He is. He has got to grow thick skin, and he has got to learn how to stay in the pocket. You can't always roll to your right and roll to your left trying to play backyard football. The Colts defense was too good for that. I know the Colts defense has been slacking the past couple weeks, but when they're on, they're on. Seriously. Excuse me again. The Chiefs are 315 total yards. Colts 259. Passing yards, the Chiefs had 257. Colts had 177. Rushing yards, Chiefs had 58. Colts had 82. Yards per play, the Chiefs had 5 yards per play. Colts had 4. First downs, Chiefs had 20. Colts had 19. Third down efficiency, this is where the discrepancies come in order. The Chiefs were 3 of 10, which is 30%. And then, of course, the Colts were 6 of 15, which is 40%. So both teams weren't particularly good on third down at all. Fourth down efficiency, Colts they were 1 of 3, and 1 of 2 is the Chiefs. Total plays, Chiefs had 60 compared to the Colts 69. Sacks allowed, Colts allowed 5 to the Chiefs 1. Both teams punted it 3 times. Penalties, this is what killed the Chiefs. They had 6 penalties, 45 yards. Colts had 4 penalties for 34 yards. Fumbles lost, both lost a fumble each. Interceptions thrown, Mahomes had 1, Matt Ryan had 0. Time of possession, the Colts won that. 33 minutes and 32 seconds compared to 26 minutes and 28 seconds. And the Colts won by a total of 7 minutes and 4 seconds. So the possession did play a part, but the reason the Chiefs lost was Patrick Mahomes has got to stay in the pocket. Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and that guy, that dude Mike Kafka, isn't he like supposed to be some passing guru? With his sorry behind, he was trash last year. I forgot what team he was at. But where's the passing game at? Patrick Mahomes has got to take accountability. He's got to stop acting like a little spoiled brat. And he needs to get his job done. He does, man. He has got to play better. You don't have Tyreek Hill no more. Not having Tyreek Hill really hurts this team. I know some fans of the Chiefs want to try to brush that off, but dog, Tyreek Hill, you guys are missing him. And he's doing wonders for Miami because he got Tua actually looking like a quarterback. So all I'm saying is, man, you guys have got to do better on that. Also, dog, like the Chiefs had too many stalemates on offense. Third downs killed them, along with not running the ball. They only had 58 yards rushing. And people say, well, the rushing game was getting stopped. It doesn't matter. Run the ball. Look at last night. The Niners and Broncos ran the ball for the whole goddamn game. Sometimes the Niners were breaking more than the Broncos, but the Broncos, guess what? Down the stretch, that run helped them. You have to stick to the running game, man, because at times, if your passing game isn't going well, you got to run the ball. I've been telling Chiefs fans for the past 2 years, Patrick Mahomes has got to learn how to play in the pocket and be patient. And he got exposed again yesterday that he has a hard time, I believe, reading the defense. I don't believe he can read the defense well. And he's showing it. He loves to run around the pocket and make crazy throws to win the game. And he's not held to that standard because they don't ever come in him. But Lamar Jackson, they'll say, oh, well, Lamar got to do this better. When Lamar's been doing this for the past 3-4 years. Been balling, but it's Kansas City just has to clean up their third downs, clean up the turnovers, play more patient in the pocket, and run the damn ball. The Indianapolis Colts, look, I don't trust Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, in my opinion, is done. Yes, the stat line may look like a certain way. He had 2 touchdowns, no picks. Matt Ryan was terrible the whole game. He does not. Now, down the stretch, he woke up. But that was more of, the team carrying him. Jonathan Taylor need more touches. But he was getting shut down remotely by the Chiefs defense. Well, not shut down. He was being contained, I'll call it. So that's good and everything, how they played, because Mahomes, he can't be attempting 35 passes a game. You got to cut that down. The running game, they've got to figure out a way to get Pacheco involved. They got to find a way to get McKinnon involved and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I would just bring him in on third downs and get him on a screen. He's good in the screen game. Because last week when they were running screens, Helaire was balling out. So I would use him more on third downs, catching out the backfield and catching on screens. I think he'll do better there. But McKinnon, the past 3 weeks, has been the best running back for them. Seriously. And then I would put Pacheco in there. I think Pacheco and McKinnon could really get this offense going. But they've got to stick to them. They can't just go away from them because things ain't going good for like 3 or 4 series. No, you got to keep them going. And shout out to Jonathan Taylor. Nyheim Hines had a sighting yesterday, but I want to see the Colts give Hines and Taylor more touches. Matt Ryan is not going to survive the season if he's attempting 37 passes a game. I'm sorry, he's not. And shout out to Michael Pittman Jr. He's becoming a young premier receiver. I say he's within 11 to 15 or 11 to 20 range of top receivers. But he's getting up there. Just got to keep balling. But shout out to him. The defense is Stephon Gilmore. He basically tipped the ball at the end where Mahomes threw the pick because Gilmore jumped in, tipped the ball, tip drill, interception, win the game. Beautiful play, beautiful defense by old vet. But the Chiefs' defense is good. The Chiefs, your defense is good, so I wouldn't worry about anything with you guys' defense. Your defense did their job. The offense just has to step up, in my opinion. Now, and then the penalty on Chris Jones, that's ridiculous. That should not have been called. That's ridiculous. The NFL's got to stop. Matt Ryan was talking trash, and he started it. He was talking trash, and Chris Jones said something back to him, and then they got rid of him. That's BS. That should never have happened. Excuse me. That should never have happened at freaking all. I'm pissed off at that still. But Chris Jones was not at fault at all. That was Matt Ryan talking junk and starting it. Now, the next game was Buffalo and Miami. And Miami all of a sudden is 3-0. It's funny how a team always does well as soon as the black coach is gone, right? When the black coach get fired, the team miraculously all of a sudden starts to play great, huh? Give me a break. Josh Allen attempted 63 passes. I don't even have to get into the stats. They lost the game because Allen's out here throwing 63. He's throwing the ball 63 times. And Singletary and Moss only had a combined 13 carries combined. Mostly Singletary. The Dolphins basically won this because their defense, which is Brian Flores' defense, stood tall and handled business. Baker, Holland, Brandon Jones, Xavier Howard, they came to play. And they won because their defense was more stout. Now, both teams had 7 in the first quarter. Both teams had 7 in the second quarter. So they were tied going into halftime. And then Tua got hit, and his head hit the turf. So he was in protocol. And all of a sudden, they rushed him back into the game. The Miami Dolphins should be fined and lose a draft pick because Tua could have seriously been hurt yesterday. You don't do that with your franchise quarterback. This is a guy you invested in. And for you to throw him out there like that to win a game is downright ludicrous and downright non-empathetic. And I hope you bastards get hit with everything you can get hit by. But if the players union all of a sudden does an investigation and come up with nothing, we know the Miami Dolphins paid them off, allegedly. Everything I'm talking is allegedly. Now, third quarter, the Bills had 3 to the Dolphins 0, and then fourth quarter they had 2 because of a safety. The punter punted the ball, and the ball went out the back of the end zone. The most dumbest play, I think it hit off of a lineman or something, his butt or his head, or some stupidness. I don't know. It was ridiculous. The Dolphins scored 7 points to win the game down the stretch. So they had 21 compared to the Bills 19 because the Dolphins scored before the Bills had a chance to try to win. But look, I'm going to tell Bills Mafia this. I'm going to tell you guys again. You're not going to win if Josh Allen keeps throwing over 60 attempts a game. I keep telling y'all that. This Bills team is very beatable. Like, that's why nobody really takes you seriously, like the real people, not the media hyping you up, but the real fans, like the real people like myself and others who watch these guys. Total yards, Bills have 495 compared to the Dolphins 212. Passing yards, Bills had 380 compared to the Dolphins 171. Rushing yards, Bills had 115 compared to the Dolphins 41. Yards per play, they had 6 compared to the Bills 5. First downs, Bills had 31 to the Dolphins 15. Third down efficiency, the Bills were 11 of 18. The Dolphins were 3 of 8. So the Dolphins have to clean up their third downs because that's going to come back to bite them in the butt, 38%. Then you had the Bills who were 11 of 18, which was 61%. They were good. Fourth downs, they were 2 of 3 compared to the Dolphins 0-0. Total plays, 90 for the Bills. Dolphins had 39 sacks allowed, 4 by the Bills compared to Dolphins 2. Bills only punted it 1 time, and the Dolphins had 5 punts. This is what killed the Buffalo Bills. They had 7 penalties for 52 yards compared to the Dolphins' 4 penalties for 20 yards. Then they had a fumble loss compared to the Dolphins 0 picks thrown between both teams. The Buffalo Bills won. They won the time of possession, 40 minutes and 40 seconds compared to the Dolphins, 19 minutes and 20 seconds. The Dolphins got blown out 21 minutes and 20 seconds. That's how much the Bills had the ball more than them. And the reason the Bills lost is because they do not run the freaking ball. The reason their rushing yards are so much is because Josh Allen was running the damn ball. And then not only that, your penalties killed you. Josh Allen should have got kicked out the game and suspended for punching that lineman Wilkins on the turf. And he lucky Wilkins didn't beat his ass, because I would have beat his ass if you would have punched me like that on the field. So the Bills lost this game because of penalties. Penalties, and then they had the 4 sacks that were allowed were key sacks that messed Josh Allen up. Then Josh Allen was missing some passes. But yet everybody tell me he's so accurate, but he was missing some passes. Then Stephon Diggs got bent up. He was on the sideline a lot with a hamstring injury. The Bills, dog, they're not going to go anywhere. They won the game in all statistical categories. They won. Do you know why they lost the game? Because Tua and those receivers, Waddle and Tyreek Hill, made big plays after big plays, and Chase Edmonds made some big plays. Like, they scored fast. That's why they won. Okay? Waddle had big catches to get down to the red zone. Tyreek Hill really didn't do nothing yesterday. They shut him down. But the defense stepped up. This is why they lost 21-19. They put up all these yards, but when it was time to get into the red zone, this is why they lost. The Bills' red zone offense is trash. It's trash. They couldn't get any scores. Then they couldn't even get the ball down there because they kept getting stopped. So the Dolphins won because they capitalized on their opportunities. The Bills didn't. But the Bills have got to run the ball, and they've got to limit Josh Allen throwing 63 times. That's not good. And that's why they lost. Now, do I believe the Dolphins are for real? Hell no. No, Dolphins are not for real. Tua is okay, guys. He's doing good early on. Him and Lamar Jackson, to me, have been the best quarterbacks so far. Lamar Jackson, to me, I got 1, then I got Hurts, and then I got Tua. So that's how I got it out of them 3. But the Bills really choked this game. They choked it bad. All right, now, next game, we had Minnesota and Detroit. And the reason Detroit lost this game was they got to learn how to play better in the second half. I think Swift got hurt. Their running back Swift, I think he got hurt. But Detroit was winning this game majority of the game. Like, they were winning it. They had, going into the fourth quarter, they were winning it. Detroit had 14 points in the first half, tied with Minnesota. Minnesota dropped 14 in the second quarter. Detroit got to slow them down at the end of the first half so they could keep that lead up. Then the third quarter, the Lions had 10, the Vikings had 0. So you had 24-14. This is where they lost, was the fourth quarter. They got to close. Other than that, like the Lions played a good game, but they got to learn how to close in the fourth quarter. They got to. And then I believe Swift got hurt. So Jamal Williams took over the game. Jamal did a great job, but you got to give him the ball late. Jared Goff played like Jared Goff, had 41 attempts. Kirk Cousins had 41 attempts, but Dalvin Cook gave you 96 yards on the ground, 17 carries. He needs to get his carries up more, and Kirk got to lower that pass attempt. But I guess it's the new league. Total yards, Lions had 416 compared to the Vikings 373. Passing yards, Lions had 277 compared to the Vikings 250. Lions had 139 rushing yards compared to the Vikings 123. Yards per play, Lions had 6 compared to the Vikings 6. First downs, 23 for the Lions to the Vikings 30. And this is where the Lions lost the game. The Lions were 3 of 16 on third downs. That is 19%. That's going to lose you games. Now, the Vikings were 2 of 9. That's 22%, but 19%? Come on. Now, fourth downs, they were 4 of 6 compared to the Vikings 1 out of 2. Total plays, the Lions had 76 to the Vikings 67. Sacks allowed, Vikings had 1. Lions had 0. Both teams punted 3 times. Penalty yards, Lions killed themselves, 7 for 59 yards. 7 penalties, 59 yards compared to the Vikings 3 for 15 yards. Fumble loss, 1 by the Vikings, 0 for the Lions. 1 pick thrown, which was at the end by Goff, 0 for the Vikings. And this is the same thing like the Buffalo Bills. The Lions won the time of possession, but they lost because the Vikings, they were killing them on big plays. 34 minutes and 4 seconds Lions to 25 minutes and 56 seconds for the Vikings. The Lions won by 8 minutes and 48 seconds. So the problem is the Lions were inefficient on third downs, and in the fourth quarter, they allowed them to drop 14 points. They didn't play defense. They didn't get the job done. That's the Lions' problem. If the Lions learn how to close in that fourth quarter, which I believe they can, they're going to be dangerous. Seriously. So that's why they lost. They didn't close the deal. And Jared Goff, the Lions got to get another quarterback. Goff's not going to win the game. He's not going to lose you the game, but he's not going to win you the game either. I mean, he's not. The guy's pitiful. Now, Baltimore and New England. This is basically Lamar Jackson showing you that he's the best quarterback in the league. And I believe he is. So far this year, he's been the best quarterback. He has been. The things that he's been doing, everybody's been trying to say that, he can't throw consistently from the pocket. His game is too reckless. He's showing you that he can do it. They only lost last week because the Ravens gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter. Other than that, and then his team only scored 3 points. So they had to change that. The Ravens just has to learn how to close. If the Ravens learn how to close, they'll be fine. Lamar only attempted 29 passes for like 218, and then he ran the ball 11 times. Justice Hill, J.K. Dobbins just got back. But Justice Hill and Dobbins, you've got to feature them more running the ball. And if Lamar can limit his runs, I believe Lamar needs to cut his runs down from 11 to 5. Because I don't want the wear and tear to be on his body. But as overall game, the defense, woke up and did their thing. Mac Jones has been getting killed in the pocket because they don't have a consistent run game. Now, Stevenson gave you 73 yards, but he has to get more carries. You can't just get his guy 12 carries, and you want Mac Jones to try to win you the game. Baltimore had 7 in the first quarter. New England had 0. Second quarter, Baltimore had 7. New England had 13. Third quarter, Baltimore has been great in the third quarters this year. Like, for some reason, they just ball in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, they're not as good. So they had 17 in the third compared to the Patriots 7. They had 6 in the fourth quarter compared to 6 by the Patriots. So that third quarter really helped them. So total yards 394 for the Ravens to the Patriots 447. Passing yards 206 by the Ravens to 302 for the Patriots. Rushing yards 188 by the Ravens to the Patriots 145. Yards per play, both teams had 7. First downs, Patriots had 22 compared to the Ravens 19. Third down efficiency, the Ravens were 5 of 11, which isn't good. They got to clean that up. That's only 45%. But the Patriots were 2 of 9, which is 22%. That's not good either. Fourth down, they're 1 of 2. Total plays, 63 by the Patriots, 59 for the Ravens. Sacks allowed, 4 by the Ravens to the Patriots 3. Punts, 3 for the Ravens to 2 for the Patriots. It was a clean game for the most part. Ravens only had 2 penalties, 10 yards. Patriots 3 penalties, 16 yards. Fumbles lost, 1 each. Interceptions thrown. Ravens had 1 thrown, and then the Patriots basically had 3. So that really killed them. And the time of possession was close. 30 minutes, 36 seconds for the Ravens compared to 29 minutes and 24 seconds for the Patriots. So the differentiation between that is 1 minute and 12 seconds. So the reason that the Patriots lost was the turnovers they had 4 compared to the Ravens 2. And third down efficiency. Guys, third down is key. Y'all don't understand how key third down is. Third down keeps your drive going. It keeps your defense on the sideline getting rest. When your defense isn't getting rest, you're going to get torched. And that was the same thing about the Ravens. That's why the Ravens lost last week. Not just because they got scored on in the fourth quarter. Their defense was tired. They were terrible from third downs. The majority of these teams losing, the reason they're losing is because they can't convert on third downs. And you guys got to stop paying attention to this fantasy league crap. And this look, third downs are key. Okay? Running the ball is key. Fourth quarter or second half defense is key. Those are your main things that are key. Limiting turnovers, key. The more turnovers you have, the more likely you're going to lose. The more inefficient you are on third downs, the more chances you have to lose. The Buffalo Bills, they did good on third downs. But you know what their problem is? Josh Allen is throwing the ball too damn much. They didn't run the ball enough. They didn't limit his throwing. Excuse me. If you would have cut Josh Allen's attempts from 63 to like 40 or 30 something, because he's a 30 to 40 pass attempt player, Bills would have won that game easily with the Dolphins. In this game, Mac Jones isn't the problem. I'm not a fan of Mac Jones, but it's not his fault. The reason the Patriots are struggling because Matt Patricia can't call a lick of damn plays. He sucks. He only got the job because he a pink boy and his buddy is Belichick. Okay? And Belichick is looking very average. Y'all telling me he's the biggest guru at coach. He's looking slightly overrated to me, in my opinion. And Belichick has not drafted well. He hasn't. He hasn't, like the majority of his draft picks. Now, even though he did get Seymour and Will Fork, the majority of his draft picks have not been that good. He's mainly a guy who gets all his players from free agency, fits them in the system. If they can't fit to his system, he will not be successful. Okay, but Lamar Jackson, kudos to him. He's stepping up. You know, he got to continue this. He got to stay healthy. He got to continue this throughout the season. You know, he got to. His third downs, they've got to get better on third downs. And Rashad Bateman, you can't be fumbling the ball, son. You got to catch it. You got to get yards and get down. Hold on to that ball. Devin Duvernay, I would hope they can get him more involved in the offense. I think he's going to be better than Bateman, in my opinion. I think he's a better receiver. Bateman, to me, is the better deep threat. So, but I've been talking about these guys for all the time. And then I think they need to get Isaiah Likely involved more. Now, I'm glad they got Patrick Ricard involved. You know, Mark Andrews, he's going to be the offense because the guy can do anything. Like, he can play in the backfield, he can block, he can catch. Mark Andrews is basically in the conversation of the best tight end in the league. You know, shout out to C-Pen. I was wrong. I thought Mark Andrews was slightly, you know, overglorified. Not really overrated, but overglorified. But shout out to C-Pen. Mark Andrews, to me, is the best tight end in football. Hands down. He's proven it. And Lamar Jackson is entering that conversation as the best quarterback. He's been playing the best. Him, Jalen Hurts, and Tua. Those have been the best quarterbacks. Hands down. You know. But the Ravens won the game because they played defense down the stretch. They caused some turnovers. They were on Mac Jones all day. Mac Jones got hurt. Hopefully he'll be back. Looked like he had a high ankle sprain, probably 2 to 4 weeks. Probably 3. Maybe, you know, he may be back, I think, sooner. We'll see. You know, but I don't wish injury on anybody. And Mac Jones is not the problem. The problem is Patricia. He cannot call any damn plays for the Patriots at all. And the Ravens have to work on their third downs. And they got to limit Lamar running all the time. Justice Hill got to run it. They got to give them more carries. They've got to find a way to run. Now they're passing. That's good. But Greg Roman, every time he does go to one thing, he's lacking in the other thing, which is the rushing department, sir. You got to do better at that. You know, that's facts. Now, Cincinnati and the Jets, basically they're not going to let Cincinnati start off 0-3. The Jets are still showing that they need a quarterback. As a total team, the Jets are great. I keep telling everybody, the Jets have a great, complete team. They just do not have a quarterback. And this has been the Jets' problem. The Bengals had 14 points in the first quarter to the Jets 6. Second quarter, Bengals had 6 to the Jets 3. Third quarter, they had 7 compared to the Jets 3. Both teams had 0 in the fourth because it didn't matter. The game was 27-12. Total yards, 330 by the Bengals, 328 by the Jets. Passing yards, 261 for the Bengals compared to the Jets, 252. Rushing yards, 69 for the Bengals to 76 for the Jets. Yards per play, 5 for the Bengals, 4 for the Jets. 20 first downs for the Bengals, 19 for the Jets. Third down efficiency, we had the Bengals were 7 of 14, which is a lot better than what they've been at. That's 50%. That's good. It's average. They need to be better than that, you know. And then the Jets were 7 of 18, which is 39%, which isn't good. Fourth downs, they went for it. They're 0-3. Bengals are 0-1. Total plays, Jets ran more, 76 to the Bengals 66. Sacks allowed, the Jets had 4 compared to the Bengals 2. Punts, Bengals had 3 compared to the Jets 3. Penalties, Bengals had 5 for 30 yards compared to the Jets 4 penalties for 55 yards. Fumbles lost, only 1 for the Bengals, 0 interceptions for them. The Jets lost this game because they had 2 fumbles lost and 2 interceptions thrown. Time of possession, the Bengals won 32 minutes and 24 seconds compared to Jets 27 minutes and 36 seconds, which the Bengals won 4 minutes and 88 seconds, which wasn't too far off beating the Jets in that part. But the Bengals, again, are throwing the ball too much with Joe Burrow. And they're going to get Joe Burrow hurt. The Bengals have got to run the goddamn ball. Okay? You have Joe Mixon and you have Perrine. Those are two good, solid backs. They're not Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt, but Joe Mixon is on the level of Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Perrine isn't there, but Perrine can move. And then this is why the Jets also lost. The Jets' running game couldn't get started. Breece Hall has got to get the ball more. Michael Carter needs to get it more. You know, Breece Hall was averaging 5 yards a pop. He's got to get the ball more. And I think he fumbled or Carter fumbled. Somebody fumbled. So that hurt them. And then Flacco threw 2 picks. But Flacco was attempting 52 passes. No. Flacco is better when he attempts 25 to 30 passes a game. Okay, go back and look at his numbers when he won. Rushing yards, both Bengals have got to run the ball. Do y'all want Joe Burrow to last for the season? Because the way you guys playing is like y'all don't care about Joe Burrow. Y'all don't. Y'all don't care about Joe Burrow. Y'all don't care about Joe Burrow at all. Y'all want Joe Burrow to get knocked out the game because he's not going to last for the full season. I'm telling you that right now until you guys actually let this man rest. Like, you guys are not giving this guy any protection. And it's sad because Joe Burrow, I like Joe Burrow. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's great. I think y'all pushing him up there too much. But you got to do better. You're going to get this guy killed. And the Jets only lost because of turnovers. You know, and third downs. That was it. Turnovers and third downs killed them. But if the Jets, I'm hearing Zach Wilson coming back. But we'll see what that does. I still think they need a quarterback. They should have traded down instead of getting Zach Wilson and built their lineup. So we'll see, man. But the Jets got a good team. They just don't have a quarterback. And the Bengals, they just don't run the ball. So they're going to get their guy killed. Like, straight up, he going to get killed. Now, Las Vegas and Tennessee. Vegas lost this game because their coach, Josh McDaniels, is just not a good coach, man. He's not. Derek Carr, he's just not a good quarterback. He's too up and down. You know, last year he managed to be more up down the stretch, but I don't know. He's not good to me. The Vegas Raiders, they had 3 points in the first quarter compared to the Tennessee Titans 7. Raiders had 7 points in the second quarter. Titans had 17 third quarter. Vegas had 3. Titans had 0. Fourth quarter, Vegas had 9. Titans had 0. If they could have had that 11, it probably would have been 24-24 going into OT. But nope. The Raiders did well to come back, but it was over by that time. The Titans did better because they limited Tannehill to 27 attempts. If you keep Tannehill under 30 and run the ball or get the ball on screens help too. For some reason, screens are a lost art in the NFL. I don't know why, but the Titans finally ran a screen like I've been yelling at them to do since week 1. You got Derrick Henry. You got the other running back, what's his name? Dontrell Hilliard. He's a beast. You know, he brings that lightning in there. You got to bring that in. You got to mix it up with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry not going to last past week 5 if you guys keep giving him them bullshit runs and he's getting popped at the line. So 361 yards for the Titans to 396 for the Raiders. Passing yards, Raiders had 300. Compared to the Titans, 252. Rushing yards, Titans had 109 to the Raiders 96. 6 yards per play for the Raiders, 7 for the Titans, 19 first down for the Titans, and 24 first downs for the Raiders. This is why the Raiders lost, is third down efficiency. They were 1 of 12. That is 10%. No, that's 8%. They were 8% on third downs. The Titans were 5 of 10, 50%, which is average. That needs to be better. They were 3 of 3 on fourth downs. Titans were 0 for 1. Total plays 65 by the Raiders, 55 by the Titans. 1 sack allowed between both teams. Punts, both punted it 3 times. Penalties, Raiders had 6 penalties for 44 yards. Titans had 7 for 85 yards. Both teams did not lose the ball in a fumble. Both teams did throw a pick. Time of possession was 30 minutes and 45 seconds for the Raiders. And the Titans, they had 29 minutes and 15 seconds. So a minute and 30 seconds basically was the differentiation. But the reason the Raiders lost is Derek Carr just is not that guy. And plus, Carr threw for 44 attempts. Carr is a 25 to 30 attempt passer. Okay, if you have him doing too much, you're not going to do good. Josh Jacobs did not get the ball a lot. He had 13 carries, 66 yards for 5 yards per play. Josh Jacobs has got to get the ball. I don't know what is up with these damn coaches. They just want to throw all the time. And then Darren Waller was getting set up by Derek Carr, and plus at the end, Darren Waller shorted the catch because he got scared and then he lost the ball. It got popped up and intercepted in the end zone. Waller, you got to be tougher, man. Look, these receivers got to understand you're in a softer NFL. If this was back in the 90s or 80s, y'all would have had y'all cap peeled back in the first quarter. Y'all wouldn't have came back. You got to catch those plays. Then Devontae Adams only had 5 receptions, 36 yards. Really? Devontae Adams, even though I feel A.J. Brown's the best receiver in the league, Devontae Adams is in the top 3. I got A.J. Brown, I got Adams, and I got Cooper Kupp. Those are my top 3. So, come on. Stop with the shenanigans. Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league, or in the top 3 at worst. He needs to get the damn ball more. And I just don't believe Derek Carr is going to get him the ball. Seriously. This is terrible. Josh McDaniels has got to learn how to run the damn ball more. He's got to stop with all this passing. This ain't New England, bruh. You ain't got Belichick to bail your ass out. You got to do this yourself. And you're not showing you're a good coach. You're basically showing you're a product of Tom Brady. So the Raiders have got to do better on third down, and they got to run the damn ball. Defensively, they weren't bad yesterday. They did a good job. But you've got to do better. This is BS, man. I don't know what is up with these damn teams. Now, Philadelphia, and to me, Philadelphia, like I told everybody, they're going to be the best team this year. They didn't score nothing in the first quarter. Then they just went nuts in the second quarter and scored 24 points. Washington had 0. Washington had 0 in the third quarter. And they had only 8 in the fourth quarter, and the Eagles didn't have 0. The Eagles got to do better in the second half. If they want to get to another level or get to the Super Bowl, they've got to be able to close down the stretch. They're going to have to get some offense down the stretch. They got to put some points up in the second half. But since they were up by 24, I don't really get on them because their defense has been incredible. Jalen Hurts has been Jalen Hurts is in the MVP conversation early on. I got him second. I got Tua third. But I don't know. Tua's in the conversation as well too. Lamar Jackson to me has outplayed both of them. but it's by a slim margin. But shout out to Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown again gets to show you why he's the best receiver in the league. Devontae Smith is starting to show you why I believe he's in the top 10 in the league. Devontae Smith, I keep telling y'all, is Marvin Harrison reincarnated. A.J. Brown is Anquan Bolden reincarnated. Devontae runs his routes crispy, and he got hands. So they're going to be dangerous the whole year. The Commanders, Carson Wentz just isn't it. Antonio Gibson didn't get it going. If Gibson would have got it going, I believe they would have did better. But it happens. Now let's look at team stats. 400 yards by the Eagles, 240 by the Commanders. Passing yards, 328 by the Eagles to Washington's 153. Rushing yards, Eagles had 72 to the Commanders 87. Yards per play, 6 by the Eagles to the Commanders 3. First downs, 21 by the Eagles, 20 by the Commanders. Now, third downs, the Eagles have got to work on this. The Eagles are not that good on third downs, in my opinion. They were 5 of 15, which is 33%, and the Commanders were 35%. Which isn't good. Both teams struggled. Fourth down, 2 or 3 for the Eagles, 0 for 2 for the Commanders. Total plays 74 for the Commanders to 68 by the Eagles. Sacks allowed 3 by the Eagles to the Commanders 9. Punts 6 for the Eagles to their 8. Penalties 5 for the Eagles, 52 yards. 4 for the Commanders, 48 yards. Fumbles lost. The Commanders had a fumble loss. 0 fumbles for the Eagles. 0 picks for both teams. Time of possession, the Commanders won 32 minutes and 54 seconds. Minus, to the Eagles 27 minutes and 6 seconds. So the Commanders won like about 5 minutes and 48 seconds. But the reason the Commanders lost the game was terrible on the third downs. Rushing yards weren't that good. They had 87. Passing wise, they couldn't move the ball. They couldn't move the ball through the air. Not only that, they didn't give their defense time to rest. And then the Eagles just made some quick plays. They were making a lot of quick plays, quick passes, quick movement of the ball. They ran it a little bit, but they threw it well. Jalen Hurts just torched their secondary. So they lost because Jalen Hurts just went bonkers in the second quarter. But my concern for the Eagles is they do not have a good second half offense. They've got to do better. In the second half, you got to be able to move the ball. You got to be more efficient on third downs. You got to get your defense some rest, or you're not going to win a lot of these close games down the stretch. The Commanders, they need a new quarterback. They should have never got Wentz. I felt they should have went and got Cam. Cam would have been better for them for what they do, but Cam has rub-off effect. Wentz don't have rub-off effect. Nobody likes him. Next game, Jags and the Chargers. Look, I told you guys about the Jaguars, and I told Chance yesterday and everybody that Trevor Lawrence is better than Mac Jones. He is. He's better, and he's showing you why he's better, because he has a coach now. Trevor Lawrence played an incredible game. James Robinson was balling. Doug Peterson is showing he's a great coach. Justin Herbert is continuing to get killed because his dumbass coach wants to let him attempt 45 passes a game, which is ridiculous. And there was no help in the running game. Total yards, so basically 0 points were scored in the first. Jaguars put up 16 in the second compared to the Chargers 7. The Jaguars had 15 points in the third compared to the Chargers 3. Fourth quarter, they had 7. Chargers had 0. 413 by the Jaguars. Total yards, 312 by the Chargers. 262 passing yards by the Jags to the Chargers 286. 151 rushing by the Jags to the Chargers 26. 6 yards per play, 5 only for the Chargers. 25 first downs for the Jags, 16 for the Chargers. Third down efficiency, 8 of 15, which was 53%. That needs to be a little better. The Chargers, 5 of 13, which is 38%. Fourth down, 2 of 3 for the Jags, 0 and 2 for the Chargers. Total plays, 75 for the Jags, 58 for the Chargers. Sacks allowed, 0 for the Jags, 1 for the Chargers. 4 punts for the Chargers, 1 by the Jags. Penalties, this is what killed the Chargers. 7 penalties for 54 yards compared to 2 penalties for 10 yards for the Jags. 0 fumbles and interceptions for the Jags. Chargers had 1 fumble loss and interception thrown. Time of possession, Jags won. They had 38 minutes, 27 seconds compared to the 21 minutes and 33 seconds by the Chargers, which was a total of 16 minutes and 94 seconds the Jags had the ball. The reason the Chargers lost, lack of third down efficiency, not running the ball, getting your quarterback killed, and they had penalties, which shows that they have a bad coach. Lack of discipline. And they turned the ball over, 1 fumble loss, 1 interception. Then they had less time with the ball. If you're going to have less time of possession, you got to be able to score quick. That's the only way you can win the game, and the time of possession doesn't matter. Plus, their third downs were terrible. You've got to run the ball. And then they lost Joey Bosa. That really hurt the Chargers when Bosa got hurt. Joey Bosa got hurt. So that kind of killed their pass rushing because Khalil Mack was getting double teamed and the line was sliding to him, which isn't good. But the reason the Chargers lost, Herbert is not going to last the whole season. He's throwing the ball way too much and he has no running game. And that's why they lost. Lack of third downs and penalties killed the Chargers. Jaguars, like I told y'all, I would not be surprised if they win the AFC South or make the wild card. You guys are surprised. I'm not. All they needed was a coach. Now, the LA Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. Look, Cliff Kingsbury should have had an addendum put in his goddamn contract. They should have put an addendum in his damn contract because he can't coach a lick. His plays were so garbage. And Sean McVay's overrated too. I'm going to get on him too because he was terrible as well. Cam Akers, you can't be fumbling the ball like that. But that was his problem in Florida State. He'll get you the big yards, but then he'll give you the ball right back. The Rams had 10 to the Cardinals 0. 3 points in the second to the Cardinals 6. Then the Rams had 7 in the third to the Cardinals 3, and the Cardinals only put up 3 points in the fourth quarter. Kyler Murray attempted 58 attempts with no touchdowns, no picks. Why is your running back? You got Eno Benjamin, Darrell Williams, and James Conner. They all combined for 20-some carries. Majority was Conner's 13 carries. That is unacceptable. That is very unacceptable. Cliff Kingsbury should have been fired last year. But no, you guys like this guy. I don't know why. He's terrible. He was terrible in college. Total yards, 339 by the Rams, 365 by the Cardinals. Passing yards, Rams had 239 to the Cardinals 295. 100 yards rushing compared to the Cardinals 70. 7 yards per play for the Rams, 5 for the Cardinals, 23 first downs for the Cardinals, 15 first downs for the Rams. This is what was killing the Rams. They were 3 of 8 on third down conversions, which is 38%. And the Cardinals were 6 of 18, which is 33%. Cardinals were terrible on third downs. Fourth down, they were 4 of 5. Total plays, they had 81 to the Rams 46. Sacks allowed, Rams had 1 to the Cardinals 2. 3 punts to Cardinals 4. Penalties, they both were even with 6, but 50 yards for the Cardinals, only 35 for the Rams. 1 fumble loss for the Rams, which was Cam Akers. Inexplicably just lost the ball. 0 fumbles for the Cardinals. 0 picks thrown for the Cardinals. The only reason the Cardinals lost the game was they couldn't convert third downs. And they could not run the damn ball. The Rams really didn't do nothing yesterday. The Cardinals could have won this game. Because the Rams should have been up like 28 to or 30 something to like 10. But because of Cam Akers fumbling the ball and Matt Stafford's underthrowing and overthrowing guys, it kept the Cardinals in the game. 33 minutes and 56 seconds time of possession for the Cardinals compared to 26 minutes and 4 seconds for the Rams, which was 7 minutes and 52 seconds differentiation that the Cardinals had the ball more. But the Rams scored. The Rams made plays to end around the cup. Look, Matt Stafford is terrible. Sean McVay is overrated. Cliff Kingsbury is dumb. Basically, that's what it all boils down to. And the reason the Cardinals lost is they don't run the ball. Kyler Murray should not be having 58 pass attempts. Are you kidding me? Dog, you did not need to throw the ball like that. All y'all had to do was run the ball. I watched the game. They weren't running the ball. So to me, Cliff Kingsbury should have had an addendum put in his goddamn contract with his stupid ass. Can't coach for nothing, but y'all want to give this guy respect. Please. He was terrible yesterday. He should have been fired last year, and I stick by it. Now, Atlanta and Seattle. Yeah, Atlanta. The Atlanta Falcons and the Seattle Seahawks. You had this game here. Cordarrelle Patterson, to me, is the best running back in the game. I'm sorry. He's the best. Ever since he converted from receiver to running back, he has been carrying the Falcons the past 3 years. He's that guy. And he proved it in this game. Now, both teams scored 10 in the first quarter. Falcons had 7 in the second compared to the Seahawks 10. Third quarter, it was 10 for the Falcons to the Seahawks 3. And that basically held off. That was enough to hold off the Seahawks because both teams scored 0 in the fourth. Total yards. Falcons had 386 to 420 of the Seahawks. Passing yards, 207 yards passing compared to 308 for the Seahawks. Rushing yards, 179 for the Seahawks 179 for the Falcons compared to the Seahawks 112. Yards per play, 7 for the Falcons, 6 for the Seahawks. 24 first downs for the Falcons, 23 for the Seahawks. Third downs, Falcons were 4 of 7, which was 57%. Very good. The Seahawks were 9 of 17, which was 53%. So both teams did well on third down this game. And the Seahawks were 2 of 3 on fourth down compared to 0-0 for the Falcons. 54 total plays by the Falcons to 69 for the Seahawks. Sacks allowed, you have 3 for the Falcons, 2 for the Seahawks. 1 punt for the Falcons, 2 for the Seahawks. Penalties, you had 2 for the Falcons and 15 yards compared to the Seahawks 6 penalties for 47 yards. Fumble loss, the Falcons had 1 to the Seahawks 0. Mariota had a costly fumble that almost cost them the game. If not for the defense of the Falcons, they would have lost. 1 pick thrown by the Falcons, 1 for the Seahawks. Time of possession, 31 minutes and 46 seconds by the Seahawks compared to the Falcons 28 minutes and 14 seconds, which is 3 minutes and 32 seconds difference, which isn't much. But the reason the Seahawks lost the game was because of penalties and lack of plays down the stretch. You know, the penalties really killed them, you know, and then they didn't get any big plays off down the stretch. They couldn't close the deal. Running the ball, they did pretty well. And plus, they got to lower Geno Smith. Geno Smith can't be attempting 44 passes a game. You got to cut that down to at least 25 to 30. But the Seahawks just couldn't capitalize on plays. That's the only reason why they lost. But shout out to Cordarrelle Patterson. He's looking like the best running back to me. We're going to have to start talking about him in that conversation. The guy's been balling. He's just playing on a terrible team. And that's why I told everybody that if Deshaun would have went to Atlanta, Atlanta would be 3-0 right now. If to me, not 3-0 now, but this Atlanta team could have been something serious the next 4 or 5 years, because If you would have had Deshaun Watson, Brady's going to be gone. Baker's trash for the Panthers, and the Saints, they're up and down. You would have had a chance to run that division. And the Falcons always play the Saints good. Always. Now, Green Bay and Tampa Bay. I told you guys that the Buccaneers offensive line showed you what was up. And people stop bragging about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't do nothing. He got some good yards. He threw the ball, but they were getting stopped. And then we shut down their running game. Aaron Jones and Dillon got shut down for the rest of the game. And on our end, we didn't have a running game. If the Bucs would have had a running game and then we had new receivers out there, we would have beat the Packers. So Packers put up 7 points in the first quarter. Bucs put up 3. Packers put up 7 in the second quarter. For the second half, the Packers put up 0. We put up 3 in the third, 6 in the fourth. Packers really didn't do nothing, dogs. So Packer fans, stop it. You guys are going to go home when the playoffs start. Y'all going home. Y'all not beating nobody. Aaron Rodgers is done. He looks terrible. His stat line is show different, but he's terrible. He can't make the deep throws like he used to. Shall I say Devontae Adams? 285 total yards for the Bucs. Green Bay had 315. Passing yards 248 for the Packers to the Bucs 251. Rushing yards 34 for the Bucs, 67 for the Packers. That's what hurt the Packers. They stopped running the ball. They were too busy trying to have Aaron pad his stats. 5 yards per play for the Packers, 5 for the Bucs. First down, Bucs had 19 to the Packers 14. This is how the Bucs lost the game, was third downs. They were 2 of 11. 2 of 11. You're not going to win games like that. And that's more of the receivers that were out there. That's 18%. Also, clock management killed the Bucs. Packers were 6 of 15 on third downs, which is 40%. So that's why I'm telling you, the Packers didn't do as well either. Fourth down, we had 1 of 1 compared to their 0-0. Total plays, 61 for the Packers, 59 for the Bucs. Sacks allowed, 3 for the Bucs, 1 to the Packers. Punts, Packers had 7, we had 6. Penalties, we had 6 for 40 yards. They had 8 for 65 yards. 1 fumble loss for the Packers, 2 for the Bucs. 1 interception thrown by the Packers, 0 for the Bucs. Packers had the ball for 33 minutes and 25 seconds compared to the Bucs 26 minutes with 35 seconds. The differentiation was 6 minutes and 90 seconds. But the reason the Bucs lost this game was there was a group of new receivers. Cole Beasley was out there. Gage just got back. This was Beasley's first game. Rudolph basically came back, and we only lost by 2 points to the vaunted Packers. Listen, the Packers suck, okay? I'm tired of seeing this same bullshit every year from you Packer fans. When are y'all going to wake up and smell the damn coffee? Aaron Rodgers is trash, okay? His team, trash. You guys are going to do the same thing y'all do every year with Aaron Rodgers. Get to the playoffs, abandon the running game. Y'all abandoned the running game in this game. Y'all just stopped running the ball. Y'all were too busy trying to throw. And that's why y'all only had 14 points. Y'all only had 14 points. And we didn't even have our receivers out there. We didn't even have our best receivers. And the offensive line stinks for Tampa Bay. I've been saying this since preseason. And our defense is not that good against the run. You guys let us off the hook just like the Cowboys did. And stop running the damn ball. Stupid. So stop telling me Aaron Rodgers is the real GOAT. He ain't no damn GOAT. He's a float. And that's what he was doing yesterday. He was getting by. He was throwing the ball in the dirt so he don't mess up his pretty stats like he always does. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon need to touch the ball more. 12 carries between the both of them, which is 24 total, is not good enough. They should have had 40 carries total between both of them. Total for them combined. So what that means is Aaron Jones needs 20 carries. So does A.J. Dillon. Stop playing with me. I know my game. I know football. Packers are way too good to only put up 14 goddamn points. And y'all running around here like y'all won the Super Bowl. Sorry ass cheeseheads. We gonna start calling y'all the mold heads. Because y'all cheese been out there. Your cheese been in the refrigerator for like 2-3 months. In Tampa, guess what, Devin White? You ain't talking that shit now after you talked all that trash last week. I told you, I am not sold on the Bucs. The Bucs are not that good. And for them to only put up 14 points against us, that shows how bad the Packers are, people. The Packers are y'all going to have problems in y'all division. The Lions and Vikings are going to give y'all problems. Again, the Bears, they lost that game. But the second time around, I think the Bears, if they had a better offense, they would beat y'all. But their offensive coordinator's dumb. But the Packers, this was how bad you played. Tampa played, we played horrible. And y'all only put up 14 on us? And then it shows you guys don't have, then both teams had a lot of penalties, so the game was even. Like I said, the Packers do not look good. If you like the Packers off of that game as a Packer fan, you're delusional. Sorry, delusional. Now, the last game was San Francisco and Denver. This was a good game because it was defense. But this showed you that Russell Wilson is off. I don't know what it is, but the play calling is terrible. Russell Wilson was either overthrowing his receivers, underthrowing them, or they were just dropping the ball. It was a total failure by the offense on both teams. The 49ers could have won this game. They could have won this game, but Jimmy G, you guys asked for this, Niner fans. Y'all asked for this. Jimmy G, the savior. What did Jimmy G do? Choke. Kyle Shanahan is starting to look like a better offensive coordinator than a head coach. Just my opinion. 7 points for the Niners in the first quarter, 0 for the Broncos. Broncos had 3 points in the second quarter. Niners had 0. Niners had 0 points in the third quarter. Broncos had 2. Should have been 6, but the guy stepped out. Garoppolo did. And then the Niners had 3 points compared to the Broncos 6 because Russell just put on an aficionado fourth quarter to win the game. They won 11-10. Total yards 267 for the Niners, 261 for the Broncos. And I like what the Broncos did. The Broncos kept running the ball. 15 carries for Javonte Williams and 12 for Gordon. And the Niners, Wilson had 12 and Debo had only 5. Debo has got to get 15 more carries. You know, he's got to. Now, total yards, 261 for the Broncos, 267 for the Niners, 179 of passing yards to 160 for the Broncos. Rushing yards, 88 for the Niners to 101 for the Broncos. Yards per play, you had 4 for the Broncos, 5 for the Niners. 13 first downs for the Niners, 14 for the Broncos. This is where the game was lost for the Niners. They were 1 of 10 on third downs because Jimmy G can't complete shit. That's why we were saying give Trey Lance a chance, you dumbass Niner fans. 1%. He was 10% on third downs. That's 1 of 10. That's 10%. The Broncos weren't no better. They were 6 of 19 because they got most of theirs in the fourth quarter when Russell won the game. That's 32%. Fourth down, neither team did a fourth down. Total plays, 52 by the Niners, 70 for the Broncos. 4 sacks allowed in between teams. 7 punts for the Niners, 10 for the Broncos. Penalties, 7 for the Niners, and 5 for the Broncos. 30, which were 30 yards for the Broncos, 40 for the Niners. 2 fumbles lost for the Niners, 0 for the Broncos. 1 interception thrown for the Niners, 0 for the Broncos. Broncos had the ball 34 minutes and 29 seconds compared to 25 minutes and 31 seconds for the Niners, and that's 8 minutes and 98 seconds that the Broncos had the ball more. Look, the Broncos, of course, Russell Wilson was over the line of scrimmage when he threw that one little shuffle pass. That should have been called back and a loss of down, and they should have punted. That was BS. Some of them penalties on the Niners, no, Niners should not have had 7. They should have had about 3. They were cheated again in that aspect. So I give the Niners that. They were getting screwed by the refs all night. So they were getting screwed. But this is why you need a better quarterback to beat the fix. They could have beat the fix. Like, people think, oh, the game's controlled. Yeah, you could beat the fix. You just got to have a quarterback who can make the third down throws. And this is why I kept telling them, give Trey Lance a chance. But now Trey Lance is gone. We're going to see what Jimmy G going to do for the rest of the year. Because I told y'all, Jimmy G is not going. People done figured you out. And this is also the problem. Kyle Shanahan needs to give the ball to Deebo Samuel more. How you only give Deebo? Look, let's look at this. This is what pisses me off. This is why the Niners lost. The Niners should have won this game by 2 touchdowns. Maybe 3 at most. Seriously, they should have won by 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel only had 5 receptions and only 5 carries. So he touched the ball like 10 times. Really? And you let Jimmy throw 29 times? I would have Jimmy only throw 15 to 20 times a game. I would give the ball to Deebo. I would let Deebo run the Wildcat. Him and Jeffrey Wilson, I would let them run the Wildcat, or I would run a heavy set run game. I would go no receivers, all tight ends, 3 backs. Let me see, that's 8. Yeah, 3. I have the quarterback being Deebo, Jeffrey Wilson in the backfield with a fullback, and you got 2 tights with the line. Dog, I would do that because Jimmy G just ain't that guy. Brandon Ayuk only had 3 receptions, probably only 6 targets, if that. Jeffrey Wilson was cooking. You only gave him the ball 12 times. He should have got the ball like 20-some times along with Deebo. Look, Kyle Shanahan is overrated. He's an offensive coordinator. He lost you this game. Okay? Kyle Shanahan lost you this game. And the lack of testicular fortitude from Jimmy G, we know what Jimmy G is. So it's no more secrets. But Kyle Shanahan lost you guys this game. And I'm sick and tired of him talking about, oh, well, we got to do this better. No, you guys, if you weren't sold on Trey Lance, you should have got Justin Fields or Mac Jones. Preferably Mac Jones. Because I'm not a fan of Justin Fields, but it's not Justin Fields' fault. I'm not a fan of Mac Jones, but I like Mac Jones. Mac Jones would have fit that 49er system. I agree with Chance, like he would have. But if you weren't sold on the kid, Trey Lance, you should have never hurt that man like that. You guys put him in a bad predicament. You all jinxed him. Not saying you, Chance. I'm saying that your fan base jinxed him and the coaching staff and the media jinxed him. And now that he's gone, there's no more excuses. Kyle Shanahan, you're going to have to show me what you can do because you asked for this. You asked for this. If you guys weren't sold on Trey Lance, you should have got Mac Jones or Justin Fields. Seriously. So that's my analysis of the games. This weekend was great as well. I will give the total between me, Scrub, One True, S Young, and Detroit Hollywood T. I'll do that after the game tonight. We are having Monday night on my channel. Next Monday, it will be on Seattle Seahawks Jose's channel. Please go support the brother. He's over there on Thursday nights. He does Thursday nights, and me and him switch off Monday nights. So next Monday, he will be on. He will do that Monday night game. But this Monday, tonight, I am having a live stream, so please come by. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you guys do love what you hear, you guys can go to my description box. Hit that link to my Cash App where you could donate whatever your heart's desire and everything. Okay, your heart's desire. And you guys can also also hit the super chat when the video is live or premieres. You know, you guys can hit that super chat. There's nothing wrong with that. And you guys can also leave a super thanks if you would like to. You know, like I said, we dropping content on the daily. Thank you guys for your support and your love and your blessings, man. And the super thanks is like a super chat, but it's like at the end of the video, it'll show up in the comment section. So thank you guys for listening and your love, man. We are out, and this is Deezy. 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 Deezy.